street food, that timeless bastion of culinary tradition where recipes are passed down through generations and every bite tastes of heritage. Or at least, that's how it used to be before we entered the post-truth era of gastronomy, where nothing is sacred and a smoothie can become a public health warning. Enter the chef in this infamous video, a true artisan of fluids, whose hands move with the confidence only seen in those who have long abandoned both hygiene and hope. Instead of the old-school mortar and pestle, he brings forth a pre-mixed, mud-colored elixir in a jug that appears to have survived several global pandemics. The liquid, oscillating somewhere between brown and green, has the look of something that tried to ferment but gave up halfway and started plotting its escape. In a display of tradition-defying bravado, our chef proceeds to aerate this potion by passing it back and forth between clay pitchers, as though attempting to oxygenate a fine wine, or perhaps just hoping gravity will filter out any solid objects. But why stop there? To cut the concoction, he adds a generous splash of water as if it were an 18-year-old single malt, completely ignoring that what he's actually doing is reducing its viscosity to the level of cough syrup left on a radiator. And for the final touch, a moment that will haunt the dreams of food inspectors for years to come, the maestro sprays a healthy blast of window cleaner over the top. Lemon-scented, naturally, because nothing says refreshing beverage like a chemical bouquet that will linger in your esophagus longer than your own sense of self-worth. 3 days later, your throat still smells like a janitor's bucket, and you find yourself yearning for the good old days when exotic just meant adding a squeeze of lime. A culinary revolution? Perhaps? A return to the time-honored ways? Not in this lifetime. Have you thought fruit salad was a gentle, summery affair? A civilized assembly of nature's finest, artfully presented in a porcelain bowl? Think again. Today's lesson in culinary chaos comes straight from an Indian street vendor, a man with a passion for fruit, but a vendetta against presentation, proportion, and apparently basic decency. Armed with the ripest mangoes, the juiciest pineapples, and enough other vibrant produce to make a greengrocer weep with pride, our hero approaches his chopping board as if preparing for battle. Mangoes are bludgeoned, pineapples are maimed, and watermelon, well, it barely survives the encounter. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when a fruit salad files a police report, here's your answer. The technique? Less culinary artistry, more revenge for a childhood trauma caused by a rogue banana. Each fruit, no matter how innocent, is hacked, chunked, and tossed with the loving care of someone late for a bus. And just when you think this vivid massacre might result in something sweet, a veritable unicorn's daydream, he upends half a tub of masala on top. Yes, because nothing says dessert like a fiery, spiced reminder that in India, even fruit can't escape drama. The end result? A bowl that looks like the aftermath of a unicorn's bad night out. Dazzling, alarming, and somehow unsettling. Watching it, you don't know whether to call the police, the local priest, or your digestive tract. Bon appetit. Or as we say in the old country, next time, just an apple, please.
Rohan, did you wash your hands after using the toilet?
No.
Oh, thank God, I got scared for a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold the pinnacle of government waste management efficiency. In this groundbreaking documentary, or as some might call it, a random train security video, we witness a dedicated public servant redefining the very essence of garbage disposal. Armed with nothing but his bare hands, because who needs gloves when you have the immune system of a war-hardened raccoon? This visionary tackles the overflowing bin of a moving train with the precision of a surgeon and the patience of a monk. One piece at a time, he carefully selects each discarded wrapper, each crumpled napkin, and ceremoniously flings them into the great beyond, where the wind and destiny shall determine their final resting place. Some might call this littering, but I prefer to see it as a bold, avant-garde approach to waste redistribution. Why burden landfills when nature itself can participate in the cleanup process? Why bother with outdated concepts like trash bags when you can embrace the thrill of real-time, high-speed garbage release? Truly, this is a testament to the ingenuity of state-funded environmental initiatives. Give this man a medal, or at least a pair of gloves. At Frostbite Ice Stand, the experience begins with the vendor hacking away at a prehistoric slab of ice, excavated from the depths of an unclean freezer. The process is less artisanal and more crime scene, as jagged ice shards are violently chipped off and dumped into a cup with no regard for portion control or hygiene. Then comes the signature compression technique, performed barehanded, ensuring a rich infusion of mystery germs. The grand finale, a splash of fluorescent red refrigerant liquid, which they swear is strawberry flavored, but tastes more like a mechanical failure. For those seeking a test of immune strength and questionable life choices, this is the place. For everyone else, maybe just chew on a cold sponge and save yourself the risk. With a majestic goatee of wisdom and a mind that takes its time, a lot of time, this vendor ensures that every meal is a thoughtful experience. One can only admire his deep, contemplative approach to order taking. You don't just ask for food, you plant the idea, and then, like a fine wine aging in an old cellar, he lets it mature in his mind until, at last, inspiration strikes. And when it does, oh boy, are you in for a treat. Before commencing the sacred ritual of preparation, he ensures his fingertips are seasoned with the natural musk of masculinity, a practice rarely seen in the snobbish world of Michelin-starred kitchens. Who needs truffle oil when you have the earthy essence of manhood? Next comes the main attraction, a glorious fistful of puffed rice, a blank canvas awaiting its transformation. With the grace of a medieval alchemist, he anoints it with a variety of viscous elixirs, each one more mysterious than the last. Are they sauces? Are they industrial adhesives? No one knows, but one thing is certain. This dish is a textural adventure, a symphony of crunch, goo, and existential dread. For those seeking an unforgettable dining experience, one that will haunt both your palate and your nightmares, this street-side masterpiece is a must-try. Just be sure to clear your schedule. Greatness, after all, cannot be rushed. In what can only be described as a culinary apocalypse with strong undertones of gastrointestinal danger, our national chef presents a stew that resembles something scooped straight from a medieval latrine. Thick, brown, and glistening like fresh regret, it bubbles ominously in a giant cauldron, better suited for casting spells or boiling old boots. With a metal bucket in hand, clearly borrowed from a construction site, he begins the sacred ritual of scooping the sludge and transferring it into a slightly smaller, equally questionable bucket. Some whisper this process is to impart an extra touch of ferrous oxide, as if seasoning with rust were a bold new culinary frontier. Others suspect he's just winging it, guided only by tradition, chaos, and fumes. And then, the pièce de résistance. He reaches into the bottom of the cauldron with his bare hands, which are about as clean as a public bathroom after a music festival. Fingers deep in the muck, he scrapes up every last chunk like a man possessed, adding that final flourish of earthiness straight from his palms. This isn't just cooking, it's performance art. A love letter to national tradition, handwritten in oil, dirt, and questionable decisions. Bon appetit and good luck. Welcome to the culinary twilight zone, where beef is a concept rather than a certainty, and food safety is an urban legend. Our adventure begins with the chef, an artist of questionable ethics, massaging an enormous mound of ground mystery meat that at first glance could easily be the disembodied brain of Krang himself. Pink, lumpy, and disturbingly moist, it wobbles as he kneads it with hands that have clearly never met soap. But wait, what's this? A generous sprinkling of spices, ash, and possibly the remnants of a burnt-down garage? Oh yes, nothing screams flavor like the essence of industrial disaster. To ensure maximum seasoning absorption, our chef employs the patented double-hand touch technique, repeatedly pressing his own salty sweat and existential despair deep into the flesh. Then comes the pièce de résistance, a single ominous squish as the meat brain is flattened into a patty. And how do we cook such a monstrosity? With nothing less than the finest American-engineered lubrication, a deep, shimmering bath of truck-grade motor oil, straight from a Ford F-150. The result? A burger so rich in mystery fluids that it could single-handedly restart the Industrial Revolution. Bon appetit, America. Last night, the great Mystico defied the very laws of nature by making a rock levitate on live television. Using nothing but his intense hand gestures and apparently sheer willpower, the stone rose majestically, coincidentally in perfect sync with some suspiciously taut, shimmering air molecules above it. For the skeptics, he even passed his hand under and over the rock, accidentally smacking it in the process, because controlling ancient forces of the universe is, understandably, a bit clumsy at times. A flawless performance. Truly, physics may never recover.
No, please tell me you are joking. What the hell are you doing, Arav? We do not wash our hands in this house.
Welcome to the Inferno Fry Shack, the only street food stall where the chefs fry chips with their bare hands. Because who needs tongs when you have calloused fingers and zero regard for OSHA? But the real secret ingredient? The grime under their nails, which sizzles into the oil, releasing a bacterial medley that gives every bite that extra kick. A seasoning no FDA inspector would dare to name. And just when you think it can't get worse, they hurl oil at the flames, turning your snack break into a fireworks display with a side of third-degree burns. Rating, 10 out of 10 for spectacle, minus 1,000 for public health compliance. Would you like your fries extra crispy or just clinically unsafe? Before we even get to the food, let's take a moment to appreciate the crime scene decor. Right there, on the back wall of this fine establishment, we can see the permanent imprint of a motorcyclist immortalized in oil and regret. Rather than let a good accident go to waste, the chef, ever the opportunist, has clearly recycled the situation into today's burger special. But let's not get distracted. Today, the star of the show is not the mystery meat, but rather the legendary fried eggs. These eggs won't be cooked in just any oil. Oh no, that would be far too simple. Instead, they will be baptized in a sacred viscous liquid that has stood the test of time, possibly dating back to the Ottoman Empire itself. This oil has witnessed sultans rise and fall, empires crumble, and arteries clog. It has a deep, rich patina, a thickened consistency that suggests both historical significance and immediate health concerns. As the chef cracks the eggs into this tar-like abyss, they don't so much sizzle as they whisper their final prayers. The yolks, once full of life, now tremble in fear as they are slowly swallowed by centuries of unwashed grease. The smell? A delicate blend of burnt history, motor oil, and possible war crimes. Meanwhile, the motorcycle burger patties rest nearby, soaking up the ambiance and possibly the trauma of their origins. It's a perfect harmony of flavors, one part rubber, one part nostalgia, and a whole lot of questionable choices. Will you take a bite? Will you survive the experience? One thing is for certain, this is not just a meal, it's a rite of passage.